Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Danny Flores with the OC Power Players. And today we have Raghu Bala with us, joining us, zooming from Orange County. Raghu he's the founder of Synergetics, an AI-based startup based in Orange County. He's the alumnus of Yahoo, InfoSpace, Automotive.com, PwC, and has had 4 successful startup exits. Raghu possesses multiple degrees from multiple great institutions. He is a published author of books on technical topics. He has spoken at several major conferences worldwide. His current areas of focus include product development, engineering, and strategy in startups related to agentic AI, autonomous agents, artificial intelligence, and the metaverse. Wow, Raghu. Sounds like you've covered it all. How are you today? And thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. And thanks for the introduction. I'm glad to be here.
Now, give us a little bit of a snapshot of what you do now.
Sure. So I primarily have my, I do a couple of things, or maybe a little bit more than 2. But first of all, I have a startup that I'm running out of OC, called Synergetics. And so this is a agentic AI platform. And just not to get too much into the weeds, but AI is very much talked about in the industry right now. And what our core thesis is that most enterprises will start to use both human capital as well as what we call digital humans in the form of avatars, in the form of voice-based, chatbots or text-based chatbots, and also embedding AI within devices and equipment and things like that. So we empower enterprises to make that happen, and we have a platform. We're a product company. Mm-hmm. So we're working with companies worldwide, but we focus on 2 main areas. One is in healthcare, and the second is in financial services. And that's one of my hats I wear. The second hat I wear is I also have been teaching online AI, blockchain, and decentralized finance. I have been with a platform called 2U and Get Smarter for about 8 years now. And we conduct courses from MIT Sloan. So the students receive an MIT Sloan certification after 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the course. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing that for a long time. And most of the students or participants, or rather they call them participants, who attend our or take the course, they come from worldwide, 150 countries. And a lot of them are in the process of trying to upgrade, upskill themselves, because as you know, there's a kind of economic shift going on slowly where people have to get into AI and blockchain and other types of things. So people are picking up these valuable skills, and we enable that to happen.
Wow, that's impressive. Now, this just didn't happen. How did you get here from initially what you wanted to do, what education you needed, what experience you needed, and you've had multiple exits already. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from Singapore, and I've been in the US for about 30 plus years. I came here to do my undergrad, and then got a job at Pricewaterhouse and was on the East Coast for the first. Well, like my US journey can be split into 2 parts: East Coast and then West Coast. So, right. And I tell you, I like the West Coast better. But sorry, East Coast folks. All my sports teams are still East Coast.
Yeah.
I support the Knicks. I still support the Bills and all that. But apart from that, I like the West Coast climate and the time zone and all of the West Coast stuff. But anyway, so first off, I spent in the East Coast, and then I came to Southern California in 2000, I'd say 2005, first in LA, and then after that in OC, 2006 onwards. So the journey basically, growing up, I was very good in math, and that's the core of everything that I've done so far. So I always tell people I'm kind of lazy. So they say, what do you mean by that? So I hate to study. And I like to do things which like I can sort of compute. And math is not based on rote memorization. It's about, solving problems. You understand?
Right.
So I get to remember things. And so I was horrible at those types of things. So I said, let me do things which require me to just solve problems. And if you look at computer science, you look at maths, you look at all my background, it's all about problem solving, not about remembering stuff. So
Right. True.
So I say, and then they said, why are you into programming? Well, I said, I'm lazy and I like computers to do my work. So I didn't have to do my work and I can go watch Netflix or something.
Yeah. Right. Then just sit back.
So it's a kind of like it serves my purpose in the sense that I get into fields that automate things and then make things easier. It started out easier for myself, but anyway, that same need is in enterprises and elsewhere. So I got into the field of computer science. If it were up to my parents back then, I think I'd be somewhere else. I had a lot of interest in going to medicine, and like every other kid, I said I want to go into becoming a pilot and all those types of things early on. But I settled into the computer field. When I was 16, I got my first Apple II at that time, and then that love never ended, and it's a passion. So all the startups, all the jobs, and I also mentor a lot of companies, and also some younger people in college and elsewhere. And always, I think the one thing I'd say is what drives me is just I love what I do. So like the salary and the all these other things that come around it are nice. It helps. It's great. But it's really, you need to love what you do. And that's what's driven me so far. So.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. And that's great that you share that, because we should love what we do. Anything that we do, we should love. And then it's not work.
Exactly. Right? That's why I say exactly. It doesn't feel like work after that.
Yeah, exactly. You're just having a good time, and maybe you make a little bit money along the way and help some people too.
Exactly. So that's my philosophy. You just said it. So
now you're in a very competitive world in what you're doing. What sets you apart from everybody else trying to do the same thing?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's a field that changes quite often. I mean, right now it's AI, but prior to that, it's other things, right? Mobile or cloud or web or something. Every few years there's something new, and so this sort of field actually it basically rewards people who are willing to change, and it sort of punishes people who want to stay put. So what happens is, if you are always on the if you have a good agility for change and you can constantly upgrade and learn new things and so on, it rewards you. You get premium dollars for doing that. But once you start to lag, then you become sort of outdated or obsolete, and then your value sort of drops. It's kind of a little bit harsh, but that's the truth. And so you have to constantly morph with the times, and it's very important to do that. And so I spend a lot of time reading and learning and other things. But that's not to say I don't have fun. I mean, there's a kind of I have my own sort of very simple reward system that I've used since childhood. That then I'll do all my work, and then whether I'll play something or I'll watch TV, I'll do something which rewards me at the end of the day.
Right.
Immediate gratification kind of tool. So I always I'm chasing towards my own reward, so that I get the job done. Then I feel like when I have my reward, I feel like, oh great, I already did what I needed to do, so I'm gonna have fun now.
Right. As you should. Right. We should all reward ourselves for the wins, whether they're big or small.
Exactly.
Just celebrate the wins is not a bad way to do it.
It's right. Exactly.
Now, what do you think comes easy for you that others might struggle with? That makes makes you successful?
So I mean, and this I can't explain, but I'm just good at math. I'm even the most complex math, I can sort of hack it. Even now, my daughter is going through a college, and even I graduated 20, 30 years before that. But I could still keep up and help her with really advanced stuff. And I was sort of challenged myself, and I was happy because that, sort of like you don't lose it. It's like riding a bike. You just get it back. It'll take some effort. You're a bit rusty, but still, after some effort, you can actually start to get it back. And then I was able to help her. So I was very happy to be able to do that.
Right. Yes. Our kids, is always nice to be able to help them. I have 4 boys, all in college now. And so they ask for help. I don't remember everything, but you can look it up online and it comes back, right?
Right. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's very cool. Same way here. And so math is something that comes fairly easily to me, and so I've capitalized on it. Let's put it that way.
Right. Exactly. Now, if somebody's listening to us and they're thinking of taking the same career path that you have taken, what would you suggest they do, and what steps should they take to help facilitate getting there?
So I would say I've been through a school of hard knocks in many ways. I made a lot of mistakes, and it really depends. I think each person is driven by different things, but obviously you mentioned passion. That's very important. So mine has been a kind of a mixture of working for large companies and then working for startups, and also starting my own enterprises. And every day is a learning curve. And I would say that those who want a very steady income and steady life, working for an established entity will help you there. A lot of people have become very, very successful doing that. They're able to stick with corporate America and be able to progress. And I think that career path is good for a large majority of people. Mm-hmm. And then for those who want to kind of strike out on their own, I think entrepreneurship is good, but it comes with a lot of pitfalls. And so my suggestion, I mean, some people get it, have struck it very rich and been very successful at a very young age. And kudos to them. And I think, and that's great. But then if you want to go into entrepreneurship, at least in the tech space, there's a lot of lessons these days. You almost like, if you don't have your own capital and you've not saved up and have that staying power, and you have to seek outside capital, then you really need to check a lot of boxes these days to find that capital. In fact, it's not easy. I mean, I'll just say that part is hard. And so one has to get into entrepreneurship business, whether tech or otherwise. You could even go and buy a franchise for a fast food place, for that matter.
Right.
Whatever you want to get into entrepreneurship-wise, you really need to think through twice, thrice, have enough capital, have enough staying power. Because what happens is a lot of times startups fail not because of the tenacity or the energy of the people going in. They love what they do and all that, but it's a lot of times undercapitalization and not staying long enough in the game to succeed. So one, I think the lesson I would say is just be aware that you need to have enough capital to support your family, or if you have a family member who's working to do the cover your basic month to month, and then you can take some risks. That might be good. So you need some risk mitigation strategies in place. And those are some of the things. Those are challenges that I've personally dealt with, and it's tough. I mean, nothing easy.
Yeah, being an entrepreneur is not as glamorous as it sounds, right? Everybody thinks, you see on social media, everybody's, in the supercars and having these nice dinners and nice vacations. It isn't like that. They don't know what it takes, the times that you have to stress out because, you're running out of money, or a deal didn't go as well as you wanted it to, or you're waiting for a deal, or you're waiting to get paid. I mean, just for many different reasons, right?
Exactly.
If you're able to make it you could be very successful, but you got to pay your dues along the way, basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one thing would say that that has changed in the last few years. I mean, I'd say maybe 1 or 2 decades ago when I started one company, the amount of government support was much less. These days, actually, kudos to the SBA. They're quite quick, actually, and quite friendly and quite helpful. Actually, they have started. I mean, I saw a drastic change after COVID. They're very fast. They're really helpful. And a lot of people who want to get into any sort of business do explore that avenue because it doesn't take up any of your equity. You get a pretty decent long-term loan, which is quite affordable. Right. And definitely it should be among the consideration set if you want to get into business.
Right. No, that's a really good tip. Thank you for that. Now, what during your whole career path, what has been your greatest challenge that you've had to overcome to get where you're at now?
Greatest challenge, I think. So again, I would say from entrepreneurial standpoint, I've had 4 exits, and 2 of them I had partners, and then the last 2 and the current one, I am a sole founder. Mm-hmm. So I would say when you start businesses, people grow at different pace. Like when you come together to form, it's like forming a rock band or something like that.
Right.
You come together to form something and you go. And sometimes the dynamic is okay. It sticks together for a while and you succeed and everyone is contributing and they're sort of growing at the same pace. Mm-hmm. That's good. And if you get that, that's fantastic. But sometimes what I've seen is people grow at different pace. Like initially it's all good, but then later on, some people are contributing a lot, some people are not contributing much, and then there's a kind of inequality and disparity, and then sort of like that dynamic starts to come apart. Right. So that I've had that sort of thing happen to me, and then the last couple of businesses I started on my own, and there the benefit is if it's good, I look in the mirror. If it's bad, I look in the mirror too.
Right. Yeah.
There's no one else to blame, and you can sort of reconcile.
Right.
And so I'd say, so these are types of very, hard to explain problems that you have to overcome sometimes, especially in entrepreneurship. So
yeah, it comes with the territory, right? It's what we sign up for.
Exactly.
Well, it looks like you're doing really well, and congratulations on that, Raghu. All your benefits and hard work is paying off.
Thank you.
Sometimes business partners, business people in your position look for other sources of income as well to supplement their income or potentially prepare them for retirement. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
I think the world, especially in America, has sort of gone into, initially people used to call it a side hustle.
Right.
And I think even the labor statistics sometimes I think can be trusted fully because they say so many people are employed or unemployed or whatever it is. But I think a lot of people have gone into a kind of a more than one job mode. In fact, they have like the main thing that pays your W-2 or your salary or your takes care of healthcare. And then they do have to augment because, face it, inflation has been quite high for a number of years. Right. Especially in a California setting, the cost of living is quite expensive. I mean, right. You drive a regular car with gas, it's expensive. Rents and property prices are sky high. Right. So there's a lot of things that you have to do in order to put food on the table. And so either husband and wife have to work together. If even single breadwinners sometimes have to take on weekend jobs, night jobs, this, that, other things to kind of supplement and augment. And right. I think that's might have started off as a certain percentage of people doing it, but I think that's now a lot of people do that. It's become like normal almost. Right. And in my case, I teach and I get a teaching income, and then my businesses generate income as well. So for me, I've always been doing these 2 things for the last several years. In fact,
right. So, thank you for sharing that. And so as we wrap up our interview, what does 2025 look like for you? Any exciting plans?
So for me, I mean, my business is, I think, fortunately doing well. And for those who have been following the internet, if you look at 1993, 94, it was just before the boom started. 95 was really when I can put my finger on the pulse and say that's when the internet boom from a commercial standpoint took off. And then we know what happened after that.
Right.
Shaping in AI, if you look at my 2023, 2024, they're very similar to 93, 94. And I think 2025 is the year when it really, it's already boomed a lot now, but it's going to really take off to the next level. And I think the next 5-6 years, you're going to see a large amount of automation happen. There will be winners and losers. There will be new job creation, new types of jobs that will come up. And then certain other old professions will sort of make way for that. And I think it's going to have some dislocation, but also be very exciting. You'll see some fantastic new opportunities crop up. And so from that standpoint, as a technologist, I'm pretty excited. And also, you got a new president in the office, and you got a lot of changes I think will happen in this country in the next year at least. 2025 looks a year full of change from my purview.
And hopefully those are all good changes for everybody.
I think it'll be good change. I believe it'll be good changes.
Yeah. The country needs that, and we want everybody to prosper from all of this together as a nation. Yes. Well, thank you so much for all your insight and your stories. And if somebody's listening to us and they would want to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
LinkedIn is one good way. And then also you can email me, Raghu at Synergetics.ai. And I'm more than happy to work and help the community.
I appreciate that, Raghu. And once again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.